make sure you stop by CMP Motorsports. This is where Crow Dartmouth is located, and the landmark is in the description. Now for the video. Hi everyone, this is Phoenix Ankaa from the Phoenix Ankaa Gaming Channel, and today we have Crow Dartmouth, one of the most successful bike builders and also my mentor in Second Life. How you doing today, Crow?
Pretty good, pretty good. Laying around relaxing tonight.
Awesome. Now you have helped so many people build. Actually, you are actually at the top of the mentors for me. All the people that taught me how to build bikes, well, majority of them are actually people that fell under you. Isn't that correct?
I believe so. I believe so.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for everything that you've done for the community. I wanted to say that up front. But why don't you share with us what actually started Mr. Crow Dartmouth for actually start building? Who was it that inspired you, Crow?
Well, when I first got on SL, I didn't know nothing about it. To me, it was a getaway from RL. Just to come in here, relax, explore, see what they got to offer. And then when I learned more about Second Life, I met a person called Pixie D, which, lo and behold, we wind up partnering. And
cool.
I never knew how to build. Pixie D was her name, and I didn't even know how to move a box. And I was telling her, I said, boy, I like learning how to make some of this stuff sometime. She goes, you never built it? I said, no, I don't know nothing about it. So she proceeded to show me, basic, res out a box. I didn't know how to do that, res out a box. And I guess, how can I put it? I fell deep into it. After that, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool, because I start making like a little mountain stupid stuff. And lo and behold, next thing I know, I was like, I've always been a motorhead, always loved motorcycles, cars, pretty much anything with a motor. And I said, I'm going to start building bikes, and everybody kept telling me, nah, it's too much money, you'll never be able to do it, never be able to do it. Well, I'm a persistent bastard. I did it. And lo and behold, I started building bikes. I went to damn near every bike show known to mankind while I was building, just to see other people's work, just to see what they look like, and what I was up against financially, how much it would have cost me for scripting, all kinds of things. And lo and behold, that took off. I don't know how many years ago that was.
I was about to ask you too, how long have you been building?
Before mesh, I was building bikes when they were prim.
Isn't that something? And that was like totally night and day, I'm sure. So much has changed throughout the time that you first started.
Oh my God, yes.
What were some of the hardest challenges you had when you first started building? I mean, what was it?
Actually, getting everything lined up. Okay. And I work on bikes in RL, always did, for years and years and years. And if you think you could work on bikes in RL and then come in here and it's going to be just as easy, it ain't. It just isn't. I ain't going to lie. I ain't going to hold no blows. Hold anything back. But lining everything up. And what I did, I figured if I just put a long slab down like a workbench on the ground and put another line dead center of that, I knew wherever I lined up to that center line, it's going to be dead center. Okay? And of course, when you're building, you always have to build to the east, or it's going to foul your scripts up, it's going to foul everything up.
Right.
But lining parts up is one of the biggest things that you got to keep in mind. Because you could have a beautiful bike, but if the parts are all misaligned, not blending together, it's going to look like, hell.
Exactly.
Yeah. And everybody does it, trust me. Eventually, when you start building, everybody misaligns this, misaligns that, and it doesn't dawn on you. You don't catch it. But that's part of the process of learning.
And also, I guess knowing the symmetry of the bike, I had a challenge of knowing how far the handlebars should be from the body, different little things, how long the bike should be,
Yep.
retrospect of the shape, the bodies of us here in Second Life. I remember when I interviewed you when I was reporter for Bikers Weekly that you had also mentioned things such as like you had possibly been building bikes in real life for like 30 years at that time. Was that about right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I got into motorcycles probably back in the mid '70s, and that's when I start riding, learning how to wrench on them, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of everything, and it just became my life passion. And that's in RL. I have my own bike shop, and when I'm not doing that, I'm in here working on bikes in here. It's just my
Wow.
passion in life.
And see, the history of bikes. I remember one time I had a bike in a bike show, and I had a small tire on the very front of the bike, and I told you I got rolled up because the tire was they said it was too small, and you said, "Wait a minute, that's similar to Dick Allen." I was like, "Who's Dick Allen?"
Hmm.
And you remember that, and you actually said no, it would be operational in real life, and I was like, oh my god! And so the first thing I did was I searched on Dick Allen. I remember this, and I actually have him on my wall today, and I just want you to know that because that was you get these different things saying that, oh, that's not good enough, when you knew people, oh, that's not good enough, that's not right, and then when you hear that something is right, you know what I mean, from someone like you, it builds our self-confidence. I just want you to know that you really inspired me to realize that a tire can be much smaller on the front of a bike versus
Oh yes, yes,
yeah.
most definite. I mean, that even goes back to the days of the bicycles, okay, which is basically the same as a motorcycle, but without a motor. It's man powered by your legs, okay.
Ah.
Stingray, okay, which was a Swin bicycle. They came out with a series of them. There's four of them. The one I'll speak of is called a P picker. It was a Schwinn Stingray, had a Springer front end on it with a really small tire on it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
whereas that bicycle design came from a real life motorcycle, and that's how they got that.
Ah. Okay,
So
no.
so anybody in here tells you that that's not going to work or anything like that, they just don't know what they're really talking about. To be honest with you.
Wow. Now, speaking of bike shows, you mentioned that when you first started building, that you went to a lot of bike shows, and I have to admit that's what I did. I had to. That was my way of having a vision of what bikes, was here in Second Life. Can you tell us what is the most valuable things that a person can get out of participating in a bike show?
Well, let's say back in the day, you know, bike shows were really good to go to. Okay, uh, all bike builders seemed to want to stick by each other, help each other, and tell them, hey, this is actually positioned wrong. Before I put it in there, before the show starts, I straighten this out and give everybody helpful hints. Um, a bike show to me, that's to me, it doesn't matter if you win, lose, come in second, third place, doesn't matter. It's all about getting your work out there so people can see it. You could have a bike next year's at a bike show that somebody's been building, say, for 18 years in here, and a bike's pristine. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And then you could have your bike right next to his as a new bike builder. Okay, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody likes your bike, they're going to buy that bike. You know, plain and
Mm-hmm.
simple. Don't whatever you do, don't go to a bike show saying I'm going to win this. Okay, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You
Exactly.
know, but you never give up. The more shows you're in, the more exposure you're going to get, and the people are going to see how you progress over the years in your building, and they're going to be like, "Wow, this person really cares about what they're making."
Exactly. And things come in stages. It seemed like when you first started, like you were mentioning, you worried about getting everything lined up. Maybe not about how it looked, but just making sure that you have something that's functional. You know what I mean, and that that it's actually lined up and everything. And then another phase you'll go through will be, okay, I'm going to start using different type of tires, or I'm going to start using different type of textures, or I'm going to do. So I just want people to understand, and I know you probably agree, that everything goes in stages, and you're always constantly learning the whole time that you're building bikes, because there's so much to it, But
Oh yeah, 100%. You'll never learn enough. The minute you think you know everything, just give it up.
y'all heard it now. This is an experienced builder telling you that.
Yeah. I learned. I tell you, I've been building for God knows how many years, and I learned a couple different tricks here and there from builders which just started not even a week ago. I'm like, oh
Exactly.
my God, why didn't I think of that? So, and I'm not scared to admit it. You'll never learn enough. You know, it's just the way it
Exactly.
is.
You mentioned something about Pixie and I want to say that I mentioned this in another video, another interview. There's a lot of women out there that really want to learn how to build, and they don't think they have it. They might be all into makeup and how they look in Second Life, girly, but we need to. I just want to know, in your own words, being that it's now finally out the bag, that it was a female that inspired you to build. Can you?
It was. It was a female. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're male, female, child AV, or whatever it is. If you like to build, build. Okay? It doesn't matter what your sex is. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's just as many fantastic women builders out there than as guys. It doesn't matter. And people ain't going to look at it like, well, a woman built that, so I ain't going to buy it. They don't do that. If they
Mm-mm.
like the bike, they're going to buy the bike. So never be ashamed of building because you're a woman or a guy or a child AV. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Even if you're a furry.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. As long as
And
your tail don't get in my face, I'm good.
I know, right? Well, the thing about it is that even the littles, they need to understand there's other littles like them that want bikes. I would highly encourage the littles to start building, because a lot of us don't build a lot of little bikes. We will occasionally, but that's just a tip for them. Go ahead, Crow. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. No, that's the truth. Everybody and everybody in SL eventually is going to want to try to ride a bike. So it's either going to be a little. I built a bike so small one time it was for one of them little fairy avatars. And it doesn't matter. I got a bike I built with. Oh my God, probably fit about 50 people on top of it and still won't see it's so big. Just for a joke. But
What,
this is what it is.
what was the craziest bike that you ever built? That's what I want to ask you. That in your mind, what bike did you build that you just totally let your imagination go, and and it was something that you probably wouldn't have built, but you did. Can you think of a bike that you did like that?
Actually, yeah. It was a stagecoach I built from scratch, a stagecoach, yes, like the one in Old West. But instead of horses pulling it, I had three choppers pulling the bike.
Holy
And
cow! Will it fit in here? Can you
uh,
res it for us? I mean,
it would never fit
it
here.
wouldn't fit in here.
Not at all. And it'll hold 15 avatars, and
Holy
I mean,
cow!
yeah. And then I built a party bike, which is basically a bar on wheels, which people were actually loving.
Oh my God, that sounds so
Another fun
awesome.
one.
And what bike would you say that you've built in the past that was, and I know you probably built a lot. What bike was probably one of the most traditional bikes that you've ever put your heart and soul into, that you've built?
Probably my real life bike.
You built your real life bike?
Yes.
D- d-
I
uh,
built my real life bike and brought it in here.
can
Yes.
do you? Okay, I want to ask you two questions. Do you have a picture of your real life bike that you can pass to me after the show?
I probably can, but if you look, my real life bike, the license plate on it, in here is a picture of my real life bike.
Okay, okay.
I got my real life bike picture on a license plate of the bike that I brought in here.
Is it on your
Yes.
profile?
No.
Ah, okay. Well, can you at least res your real life bike for us? Can you do that for us? I'll pause the video so you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yep.
go ahead and pause the video, and everyone, he's gonna actually show us what his real life bike looks like, but it's here in SL. Okay, stand by, everybody. Okay, everyone, what you're looking at right now is Crow's actual real life bike. It's on the license plate of a bike that he actually built here in Second Life. Take a real good look at this bike. It's beautiful. And then what we're going to do is we're going to show you exactly what the bike looked like in here in SL. All right, guys, look at this bike. It looks identical. Crow, you are the master. Tell us about this bike. Tell us what even inspired you to even like this style. Just tell us something about this bike, because it's actually it's identical to your real life bike. It's identical.
Yeah. Oh, what it was, I always loved choppers, always, and never really bought one, never really built one, and then they came out with this show called Biker Build Off. All the bike builders and stuff like that, Jesse James and all that. And literally, that bike right there was bought from Jesse James. You know what I mean? I
Wow.
wanted one. I had the cash, so I bought one. As far as riding in real life, that bike, it sucks. I'll be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie. Suicide shifter, foot clutch. It's not fun. It's a rigid frame, no shocks. But I was like, you know what? There is nothing in SL like it. Let me build my bike for SL, and I can ride my bike in SL as well. And lo and behold, a week later,
That's
that's what I got.
hilarious. That's hilarious. Now you have a new build that you have that you want to show us too as well, right, Crow?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to pause this video and we're going to go ahead and res out that puppy so they can see that one too. Oh my God, Crow, this is beautiful. And look at the shimmering colored textures like on the back and on the headlight. Tell us about this bike, Crow.
Uh, Sitting there at the sim one day, wanted to build something, didn't know what I wanted to build, whether it was going to be, a standard, chopper, bobber, and then it just came to me, the frame here, what the bike sits on, I love that frame. I
Yes,
made that frame, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to build off of that. Lo and behold, that's what became, like I tell everybody, keep an open mind, go with your heart, your gut, and just build. Okay, what I do, I'll build it like this bike here, for instance. I'll probably change it about three, four different times, a little
yes,
here, a little different there during the build, until I feel in myself that I like it. Okay, you should be the one that likes that bike. Okay, don't let
absolutely.
anybody else tell you to do this, do that. Do what you feel's the best, what you like, and trust me, that's when the best creations come out.
Absolutely.
Imagination's a great thing.
Wow, what's that in the back? Is that an oil can? No, that's not an oil can. What is that in the
That's
back?
a That's a oil relocator. They used to do that back in the 70s. Instead of having your oil filter in the front, they used to relocate the oil in the back. It's an oil relocator.
Good grief, I learned something, y'all. Y'all hear this? And the fender is like a sugar bear fender in a way, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much in
Similar,
the back
similar,
end, yes. Yes.
similar.
It,
Yeah, it's not exactly, but it's very that's really unique. Man, this is beautiful bike. And I love the hands, the skeleton hands on the engine. I always like that. That is so cool. What's the name?
yeah,
What's the name of this beautiful bike?
that's called the Stingray. I named it after the Corvette Stingray.
Oh God,
It's just, to me, it's real sleek. It's got the perfect lines. It flows. I like to make my bikes where they flow. It's kind of like a woman has a nice figure as it goes down. Well, that's how I kind of like to model my bikes like
yes,
that.
you
You
do.
know?
You told me that a long time ago, and you told me look up at the from the very top of the bike and look down. It was a bike you had made. You said you
Yep.
told me it was shaped like a woman, and I always remember you said that. Now you made those that frame there, right? That awesome frame.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now then my next question is going to be a question that somebody watching this is going to say, "Can I buy that frame? Is that going to be a part for sale?"
Yes. Yes. Actually, I sell, God, zillions of scripted bikes, but I also sell full perm parts too. I do frames, and it's funny about the frame part. When I got established as a builder, building bikes, now it took me about 2 years for people to really know who I was. and a lot of hard work. So,
Yeah.
I mean, anything you want's going to take a lot of work, but it's worth it. Trust me, to pay out. But to make a long story short, after I was building, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start making my own parts. I'm going to start out with frames, and I started making frames and put my frames out for sale. I got so many customers just from frames itself because there was only a limited amount of frames you could buy back in the day.
Exactly.
There wasn't very many to choose from.
Exactly.
And if you would have walked in my shop, I must have had about 30 different frames I built, and people just bought them, bought them. I was like, I might be onto something here. that, that led on to a bunch of building and everything else. I mean, you don't have to spend $1 zillion to build.
No, you don't. No, you don't. One thing I used to do is buy kits. If you buy a kit, like 2 kits, if you have 2 kits, you got multiple bikes right there.
Exactly, and this is one thing. Every builder will tell you the same, and I'm a stickler about this. If you buy a kit, please don't just put a texture on it and put it in a bike show and say it's done. I built this bike.
Right.
Every builder looks down on that. Okay.
Right.
And in a way, it's a good thing because it'll make you a better person, make you want to build. You could buy a kit, okay, a whole bike, which is a kit, and then buy another kit. With them 2 kits, you could probably build about 10 different bikes out of them kits.
Exactly.
You just got to use your imagination. It's endless what you can do. But change it around. If you buy a kit and you don't want to change a whole bunch, just change a little bit on there. Change the motor out with a different motor. Put a different set of... Make it yours. And people will look up to you on that one. Trust me.
Now, you said you make... Now, matter of fact, in the very beginning, it was a lot of your parts are on my bikes. Even to this day, that there was this... Matter of fact, there was a trike mount for the seat that I actually build on my newest build. I mean, I have, there's a lot of your parts that end up becoming like my go-to parts. Now, you built a lot of your parts from Perm at one time, and then you would mesh them. But now you're also into Blender now, aren't you? You like making things in Blender, pretty much, aren't you?
I always did for the longest time. A little here, a little there. Blender... The best way to put it, Blender is nobody's friend.
Right.
And it's like bike building. Once you think you know it, surprise, it throws you a backhand, But you could build the same quality, and there's a lot of people say you can't, but you can, because I can do it. And I'll do it right in front of anybody. You could build damn near same quality frames and parts in world out of Perm, and then turn it to mesh and look just as good as anybody else's what came out of Blender.
Wow.
And if anybody wants to doubt me on that, I'll prove it. I'll do it right in front of them, and they won't be able to tell the difference.
Hey, don't tell me that, because one day I might ask you to build a frame from Perm and we tape it, because, that's
easy.
It is. You know what? Since you're my sensei, I'm going to ask you to help me with that one day. And a lot of things that people don't realize is you can build something by Perm. Just right click it, bring it in. You can actually right click it to the point that you see that you can turn it to mesh, a DAV file. A lot of people don't realize that these things that they're making by Perm, right, Crow?
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of builders do that. They'll tell you, no, it was Blender. Oh, bullshit. I mean, I've been around too damn long building. You know what I mean? Most of these big builders, would just strictly work in Blender. I ain't going to mention the names, but there's quite a few good builders out here. There really is.
Yeah, it is.
What I mean?
It is.
But the thing I pride on myself, I love my work. It's different than everybody else's. Mm-hmm. And you will if you came to my shop, you would not see the same bike twice with 1,000 different textures on it like everybody else.
Exactly.
And I'm not putting anybody down.
No.
I got a very big variety of bikes, and they ain't like anybody else's. I have my own design, and that's what I stick by.
I had a weird case happen, and I want to ask you if you've ever had this happen. I made one particular bike, And next thing I know, somebody came up and said, "Can I like to have that, but I like it with. Can you make one of those with this particular texture or this theme?" And I said, "Okay." And I ended up having one bike morph into about 20 something bikes because so many people they liked the bike, but everybody has their own theme in here, and everybody has their own styles that they like, as far as the textures are concerned. They might want the skulls. I mean, say I make a skull bike. Tell me if this has happened to you. You make a skull bike, and then somebody come up and go, "Can you make that with hummingbirds, or can you make that with butterflies or unicorn?"
Yep.
You
That's,
know.
that's an everyday thing. Yeah, every day. So, somebody's going to find the style of bike they like. They fall in love with it, but they don't like the texture.
Exactly.
Could you do this or could you do that?
Mm-hmm.
I had people just saying, come in, could you make that rainbow all the way up to, could you make that look like a dog behind? Well, hey, if that's what you want.
That's how you'll end up with a lot of bikes that way too. Because at one time I was like, well, I had to ask myself, was this considered a custom bike? But the person was like, I don't mind if you resell it. She said, they'll say things like, well, it's just that I like butterflies, so I ended up with butterfly bikes. And then the next thing I know, so it got to the point now that when I make a style, sometimes I'll make about maybe 3 or 4 bikes, but different themes out of that one bike, because I'm finding, or just like people make more than one color, right, Crow? Because I've seen you do that too.
Oh yeah, I do. I mean, you could put a color changer on a bike, so you just click it, change colors.
Yeah, you could do that.
I don't do all that.
Nah.
I mean, people ask me the stupid. Well, they ain't stupid. Any question ain't stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the answers are, but the question ain't.
Right. Yeah. Right.
People ask me, could you build me a bike and script it so I could have sex on it? I'm like, well, you know what? No.
You know what? Now that I won't do either. I won't do that either. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I build bikes to ride bikes,
exactly.
And I try to explain to everybody. I said, the more scripts you put in that bike, the more laggier the experience is going to be when you're riding that bike. Depends, especially if you're on another sim, which happens to be laggy, and then you got a zillion scripts in that bike, it's going to lag you out more just because you wanted sex scripts on it.
Exactly.
Face it, you get on a bike, you start it, you drive it, you stop, you park. What more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. I've put cuddles on a bike. I'll do that, but I will not. I refuse to do that other thing. I don't want to be known as the female that makes sex bikes. I'm sorry, that's just me. I just don't want it. And I'm like you. The main reason why I make bikes is to ride them.
Yeah, I build the bikes, period, for your everyday rider. You know what I mean? Whether it's a woman, man, child, It is what it is. I mean, I'm kind of like Henry Ford. You can have any color you want as long as it's black. You know what I mean?
Right?
It's...
Well, let me ask you something. There's something that I've been wanting to ask you. Bike shows. Let's talk about bike shows, Crow.
Okay.
Since that is like the cornerstone that people, especially a new builder, based a lot of things on, because they're looking at different styles, they're looking at different parts. And just for the new builders, a lot of times a new builder will go into a bike and figure out who made that part, because that's when the first time you can actually see, variations, a lot of variations of parts. But when it comes to judging, can we talk about bike judging? Because you've had a bike show at your sim. I remember being a part of that one.
Several.
Tell me, what do you feel is the most effective way to conduct a bike show? Can you give our audience some insight on that?
Yeah. Now this is the way I look at bike building. This is the way I always did it. Okay, SL. You're always going to have somebody claiming they're a biker in real life when they probably couldn't ride a bicycle, or they always know more than the next person. Face it, it's SL. Okay, so when you get judges like that, they're judging on, ooh, that's pretty. That's something I like. That one wins. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And nowadays, it's so hard judging because you got some really great creators out there, really fantastic builders. I may not see eye to eye with some of them, but you know what? I'll never take away from them that they're a great builder.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Never.
Exactly.
Because there's no such thing as a bad build, period. But the way I do it, I write out a chart, 1 from 10. Okay, and to me, it's the best way to do it. And you go up to a bike, okay, say the first thing I look for, okay, say is textures, which everybody seems to just judge a contest on textures anymore, which is bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm being real.
No, you're being
But,
real.
but textures, I will go between 1 and 10. I'd be like, okay, that texture work, maybe it's a 5. Then I move to number 2, or I look at, okay, quality of parts. I would judge that between a 1 and 10, say 6, and so on and so on. You do that from 1 to 10. Okay, at the end of that, you add all them numbers together. Say if they got a 43, okay, 43 points total, and that's based on everything on that bike. Texture, quality of build, quality of parts, being aligned. Okay, it's the fair way to do it. And then at the end, it's total up, and that's how you know who your winner is, by the highest amount of points.
That
That's
is
the way
fair.
it should be done.
That's fair. Now that is fair.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Now
But
go ahead. I'm listening.
keep in mind, for the builders, we go to contests. You're always going to have somebody whining and crying and talking crap about somebody else because they did not win. Okay?
Exactly.
Do not under any circumstances fall into that category, and don't let nobody tell you that, well, your bike shouldn't here be here because of the way it looks. Never. That's normally the jealous person telling you that. So you keep working and doing what you do, and trust me, one day, and it ain't about the money, guys. It's about, your heart and soul putting into it. If you love doing what you're doing, do it. Don't worry about the money. Don't do it for the money. The money's nice, but do it because you want to do it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because honestly, when I'm in a bike show, I mean, the first thing I do is just drop the bike, make sure it's lined up right on the stand, look the bike over, make sure there's something I didn't, that I didn't forget, because there are times you'll catch something as soon as you put it on the block. You're like, oh shoot, wait a minute. On the lift, you're like, wait a minute, I better take this back
Yeah.
and change it. But the thing is I drop the bike and I walk away, and I don't even go to the bike show during the bike show. You know what I mean? I don't even go. I just let the bike sit there. On the day they say that they're going to have the judging, the judges have found, which one that, who placed and everything. Then I go back, but I don't just sit there. You know what I mean? It's once you've built the bike, have confidence in yourself and just drop it and leave, walk away.
Yeah.
Walk
I
away.
don't, me myself, I don't do bike shows no more.
Me neither.
Been there, done it. I mean, I can't tell you how many I won. I can't tell you how many I lost, how many I came in whatever place, but I probably got enough trophies. I'm not trying to build myself up.
No,
I
you
probably
tell
got
the
enough
truth.
trophies to full half a sim up. Okay?
I'm sure.
But it's not the point, you know what I mean? The point is be proud of what you're doing, put it in there. And the bike shows, I feel, is most of them have a bike show where, just put it this way, you're a beginner builder, say you've been building for about 2 months. They put you next to another guy that's been building for 15 years, and you're like, that kind of warts you off of wanting to be in the show. You're thinking you're not going to win, right? Put it in there anyway.
That's right.
But any reputable bike show will have a spot for advanced builders, and it will have one for beginner builders, which is the
Yes.
fair way. That's the way it should be. Okay? But, like I said, don't worry about winning. You win, you win. You don't, you don't. Hold your head up. Be happy. Be proud of what you built, because you got a full bike sitting right there on the shelf for everybody to see, man. Be proud of that.
And you get better and better, and you get stronger and stronger. I highly recommend
Yeah.
guys participate in the bike shows. It's not about winning. I know I had a very humble beginning. I had the support of Crow and a Delilah. Those are the two people and he taught Delilah how to build. And we did an interview on Delilah. Basically, Crow is the very top of the pyramid when it comes to the people that I'm affiliated with, as far as builders are concerned. But the thing that I learned was, don't worry, like Crow said, don't worry about what other people are going to say, because I was told that no one would ever want my bikes, and I even let my mentor know that. You know.
Yep. And now look, you're selling bikes.
I know,
you know
right?
what I mean?
And that was the reason why I put my trophies on my sim, was only because of the fact that someone, it was a reminder to me that somebody liked it. You know, and despite someone saying no one liked it, will like it, you know. So I just want bike builders to know that you're going to have a lot of haters, and you're going to have tough skin, and you have to keep going, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what it is, because everybody's scared of the fresh new blood coming in building, because they might build something better. They might learn something better.
Exactly.
You know, we need new builders in here. We need new blood in here. I'm established. And like I said, once again, I'm trying to give myself a big head. When I go out riding someplace in SL, I always see somebody riding one of my bikes.
Yep.
Always. And you know what? That's the best feeling in the damn world. Or if you're at a bike show and they're auctioning bikes off and, hey, look, there are my parts on that bike. You know, once you get to that point, guys, you're just going to be like, man, I'm glad I did this.
Exactly.
And if you could get SL to pay your own way in here eventually down the line, you know what I mean, from building, that's a fantastic thing. You no longer have to bring your own money in the world, you know, you're actually having fun off of what you're selling in here. Like I said, it's not about the money, but once you're known, trust me, things will blow up for you.
I have to piggyback on what he said, because that's basically where I stand. I never thought I would get to the point that my tier could be made by selling bikes, you know. And I have to say that you can actually get to that point, guys. You can actually get to that point. And say you don't have a sim, but say you get the reputation of being able to make that amount of sales. That might be money you can take back in world. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I just want people to know that this can be a very, very lucrative thing, is building bikes. You may not even look at it like that from the beginning. I know I didn't. I didn't think anybody would ever want my bikes. You know?
You'll be surprised that the people in here would do it as a second income for RL. And I know for a fact, I can't mention names, but I know several people, not just the bike builders, but other builders of different objects and stuff in here, would make thousands and thousands of US dollars a year from this game. So don't ever, you know, you get into building, build bikes, great. If you want to build something other than just bikes on the side too, just to change up for a little bit, do it. Furniture. You will be surprised, you know what you can accomplish. Oh God, I go on and on, guys.
Just learning the basics of building, just starting with a bike. My God, you're right. The other stuff may come easy. You know.
Hell, I build boats too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Tell everybody all the things, the type of things that you build. Before we get off this video, can you at least share that for us so they'll know how you've blossomed as a builder?
Yeah, like I said, I started out with bikes. Then I went to cars. Okay, I kind of got bored of cars, went back to bikes because my passion. And then I got into boating in SL. Boating's fantastic, so relaxing. And I'm looking at the prices. I'm like, oh my God, these boat builders are really expensive.
Yeah, they are.
$5,000, 13,000 lindens for a bike. You know, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build some boats and put them out there for like virtually free, just to piss off these other builders, so they get the point. You know, hey man, stop raping people for lindens. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it was difficult with the boats because no boat builder wants to help any other boat builder out. Period. Done.
Oh.
Okay. Now, I built boats, and let me tell you, beautiful yachts. Ride good, look good, just as good as anybody else's out there. Do I sell them? No, because I got lazy and it wasn't my passion. I didn't really do all the animations. Because with a boat, when you get into that, there's every animation you could possibly think of everybody wants for them boats. And that's where it takes up the time.
I would have never thought of that. You're right. There are a lot of animations for boats.
Yes. So I went from the boats. Then I went into a little helicopter I made. From that, I built a log cabin house. It's endless what you can do. You know, if you feel like you don't want to build a bike, you're just getting burned out, build a house. build a stick house. Think of it as lollipop stick house at home you're gluing together. You know,
First thing
believe it or not, it helps. It helps you to clear your head and be like, well, hell with this. I'm going back to building.
yeah. You know, you just made when you said build a house, the first thing I thought of, okay, I want to build a log cabin because it looked like it would be easy, but then again, it may not be. You know.
Yeah, it ain't as easy as people think because of the physics and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it is relaxing to do something different. I mean, if you're building 24/7 bikes, you're going to get burned out real quick. You need a break sometime, you know. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, you know, spend a couple hours, 3-4 hours on a bike, that's fine. But when you start getting to that point where you're stuck, what can I do to this, or where should I put this? Go goof around with some prims or whatever. Try to build something else. Just take your mind off it. And while you're building that, you're going to be thinking about that bike, and you'll be like, you know what, this would look. Next thing you know, the house is a thing of the past. You know, you deleted it, and you're back to the boat. So it's a good learning exercise too.
And then you take something that when you build something different, I guess what I want to know is when you build something different, do you turn around and have a different idea or something more that you've learned that you could bring back to the bikes when you do that?
Yeah, I do. It clears my mind. It actually opens it up more too. You know, because you're always thinking about that build. At least I am when I'm building a house or whatever the hell it is. I'm thinking to myself on that bike because you're always going to get stuck. You know, always. Mm-hmm. And if you could just clear your thoughts and not try to rush and get something done, it's going to go so much nicer. You know, that's relaxing. When it turns into a job for you, hang it up, man.
That's right.
It ain't worth it. You know, do it for the fun, do it for the hobby. The money's nice, but do it because you enjoy doing that.
Is there anything else you want to add? I mean, there's just so much. I could just sit here and talk to you forever because you have more knowledge than most people that I talk to that build, you know, bikes. You know, it's you know, as long as you've made them and everything, and as far as how successful you are now, Crow, you're very successful bike builder and also mentor because look at all the people you have inspired. So just to let you guys know. Anyone I've ever helped with bikes, it all stems to this one person that I'm interviewing right now. I just want you to know that. I mean,
yeah. The only thing I can say: never give up on your dream or your hopes. You know, build from your heart, build within. Okay, build what you want to build. Don't build what somebody else is telling you. You have to build it this way. You have to build it that way. Build it the way you see it in your head, and trust me, you'll be successful. Never give up on it. That's the best thing I could tell you, you know. And there is always somebody who can help you out there. Always.
Always.
Regardless, I mean, I got people ask me all the time. I'm an open book. I'll be the first, you know, one of the first people to volunteer to help anybody. And I don't care whether I know you or not, I'd help you. You know,
awesome.
Period.
Any other advice you'd like to give to bike builders out there? Any words of wisdom you'd like to share with everybody? Anything else?
No. Just don't give up on your dream, man. If that's what you want to do it. You know? And don't let nobody tell you different. It's about the best thing to tell you.
Well, Crow, I want to say it was such an honor and also a pleasure to be able to have an interview with you. You mean a lot to me. I would not be a bike builder today if it wasn't for you. And I just want to publicly announce, put it on public notice, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone, this concludes our video and our interview with Mr. Crow Dartmouth, one of the most experienced builders that we have in Second Life, and I hope you really enjoyed the show. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. I want to thank everyone for watching Crow Dartmouth's Bike Builders interview this evening. It was really a great interview from one of the most experienced and admired bike builders. We will be reaching out to other bike builders in Second Life for future interviews. It's very important that our community keep this continuity and keep it going for all the bike builders that are coming up right now. If you'd like to support the channel, you can support it through Cash App Phoenix Ankaa. Once again, thanks for coming to the Phoenix Ankaa Gaming Channel. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See you in the next video. Ciao.